What's up, CT? I'm here with Vzathegreat for episode 107. Oh man,
Hello. How you doing?
welcome back, man. I had you a part of back in like what, season 7, season 6? I think it was 7. Back when we were doing
Something like
season.
that. Yeah, way back.
Yeah, man. So I'm glad to finally get you back on and now doing a solo interview. So to start off, I know we brought this up in the previous one, but talk about growing up in Groton.
So growing up in Groton, in my experience, it was when you're a kid, it's not really boring because your imagination runs wild. You find things to do anywhere, right? But
Yeah.
as I got older, I started noticing that there's some weird energy. Like people like, and this isn't just Groton. This is probably all over the place. But people like to act like they're cool with you and we're cool because we're both from Groton, whatever. And then when you start doing shit you like, that's when you start finding out who really likes you and all that shit. Also, for some reason there's this weird like everybody hates people from Groton thing, especially from like New London. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. I wasn't part of whatever happened, but I've noticed that. It's whatever though. We're all from Connecticut, but yeah, that's kind of a brief synopsis of what it's like.
Yeah, man, and that's very true. Growing up in Legend, for me, obviously, Groton was like our rival, so there's always been that little like animosity towards your guys' town.
Oh well.
Yeah, man. But hey, once I started looking at it from a CT lens, you start realizing we're just neighbors. It's not like we're rivals, enemies. Nah, it's like we're all the same,
Yeah, it's weird shit to do that.
right? Yeah, man. So let's talk about when did music really start getting like important in your life? Because you had a poetry background, but when did it like the music become important?
I actually remember the first thing that made me want to rap. It was Kanye West, The Game, and Ludacris had this commercial. I forgot what it was, but they were rapping over this beat, and my dad would play it all the time. And I
Hmm.
was like, what is this? So eventually I would just like, I don't know how I played it on my own. I was like in fourth grade, but I would play it on my own and I would just like pull out a notebook and just kind of like rhyme with their flow, but change the words, kind of like because you don't know how to write back then. So you just
Yeah.
got to find a way to do it. So that was the first time I actually started writing. But when it became important, it wasn't until I was 17 when I joined Black Suburbia when we made that first song. I was like, okay, I want to really do this.
Oh, that's sick. And the group just got you going.
Yeah, it really did. It really did. It motivated me.
So talk about that time period where you're going through your hiatus. How did that really help you blossom into the artist you are today?
Honestly, I don't look at it that way. I look at it as it stunted my growth because when I did that, I quit. Like for real, I was done. Because it was just like, again, going back to the Groton thing, people were just like, I remember going on Twitter one day and there were just messages and messages shitting on us. And I was like, damn, this is crazy. Like, what do we do? Because me and Justin dropped or actually just Frame or whatever, dropped a song over it was a Big Else song, Sandman 118, the Sandman 118 freestyle. We dropped a song over that. And, at the time there was this group, Neo Candace, and we were like, hey, what do you think of the song? And they turned all the Groton against us. It was crazy. It was kind of tight though, looking back. But the hiatus kind of stunted my growth because I wasn't writing. Like I seriously was like, I'm just gonna get right in school, I'm gonna get my degree, criminal justice, and I'm gonna just do some other shit because this ain't for me. So I don't look at
Mhm.
it as helping me at all.
Interesting, and that's a very interesting viewpoint because you're right. Sometimes if you're not focused on the writing, you got that build up on your brain. You're not gonna get back into the groove. You're not gonna vibe, with the pen. You have to kind of get back into it. So you had to get back into the swing of things after
Yeah.
that hiatus. Okay, let's see. So if you had to describe your sound to the audience, what would you tell them in a quick, short synopsis?
You don't know what you're gonna get, to be honest. You really don't. It all depends on. I don't even know what it depends on. Like I just make shit, and then like when I like it, I'm like, okay, drop it. There's really no formula for me anyway.
Yeah. I like that. It seems very authentic, true to yourself when you release stuff.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, of
I
course.
try to keep, you know, I try to keep everything true as much as you can. I mean, it's still rap. You gotta fantasize a little bit, but I try to keep things close to reality.
Exactly. Exactly. Word, bro. So let's talk about the evolution from your very first track, the freestyle to Pound Cake, all the way to Good Luck, which just released in 2021. What do you think the biggest difference in your sound has been?
So minus mixing, because we didn't even mix that first fucking song. I would say, comfort with my sound and my voice, because now I just experiment. The voice is your main instrument as an artist when you're a vocalist, so you got to learn how to use it in different ways. Back then, I was even rapping like I was talking. I was rapping like I was scared to be heard, and now it's just like, nah, you guys are gonna hear me, and you're gonna hear what I have to say. I think it's confidence. I would sum it to confidence.
Yeah. And that's so key because I know that exact feeling when you hop in the booth and you kind of like are hesitant to not like you want to rap, but like your
Yeah,
brain's almost stopping you from doing it to your full ability, right?
yeah, it stunts you. Honestly, you're like, what? I don't want it. I want to do this, but I'm kind of ass. But you can't look at it like that.
Exactly. You can't. You gotta think. I always use this analogy where everybody's a seed and we just need water to keep growing, and others just don't have the water to grow. So you just have to find the right people to help you water yourself so you bloom into the flower that you can become.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I like that. I never heard someone describe it that way. That's pretty
You
accurate.
know, it's because you see everybody and they've already bloomed, and you're like, oh, they're in a better state than me. It's like you're just a seed right now. You're not supposed to have a flower yet. If
You
a
can't
seed had a
compare,
flower, it would be a cracked seed. You know what I mean?
yeah, you can't compare yourself to people who have been doing it longer than you.
Exactly. All right. So boom, Bodies drops in 2017. What were you thinking when that dropped?
And bodies, what's funny? Actually, I wrote bodies because back then I was like heavy into Tyler the Creator, right?
Mhm.
So I wrote bodies from the perspective of a kid who was bullied and now he's getting revenge on the school. Not necessarily a school shooter, but like I wrote it from the perspective of someone who's, you know, you're gonna get your comeuppance for what you did to me. Even though that wasn't really my experience, I don't know. The beat just made me feel like I should rap about that. It was weird, but it was a cool song because it was like one of the first times where I really started experimenting with my voice and really getting some inflection in there, and it was pretty successful for me at the time.
Yeah, yeah. And that's an interesting concept. Could you dive a little bit deeper on that?
Hmm. Let's see. So, if I could remember the lyrics clearly, I would go into it more. But
I know
it's
it's a
just
2017 song, so it's hard to
yeah,
like go back in your brain.
yeah. Man. So okay, I'll say this. So there's a lot of people out there who are bullied, and they have violent thoughts. They take violent actions, whether on other people or themselves. And violence doesn't have to be murder; it can be just any self harm. To me, violence is just harm, and self harm is under the umbrella of violence to me. Like you start doing drugs, you start drinking too much, you start doing reckless stuff. There's a lot of people who go through that, and I just felt like it's important for people who don't have that experience to bring it up still. Just like any other issue in the world, it doesn't have to be affecting you to talk about it. Because when you talk about it, but it didn't affect you, now others are starting to be like, okay, I need to pay attention because this kid wasn't bullied, but this is still important to him. So I was just trying to bring awareness to different different subjects that don't have to do with me, and that really helped me a lot going forward.
That's very interesting, and I like how you brought that up. Where even if it hasn't happened to you, you can still shine light on it.
Yeah, bring awareness doesn't hurt.
Exactly. Okay, boom. So now in 2018, you released a couple singles. Let's say you had Trackstar, Jet. BuzzFeed, Ultraviolet, Scum, Sleepy, and Are You With Me? So, out of these, which one was your favorite?
Oh man. Okay, my personal favorite would probably be, yeah, it would be "Are You With Me." "Are You With Me" means the most to me out of those songs. And
And
then
how come?
"Are You With Me." So 2018 was a horrible year for me. It really was, because I was starting the process to get into this new job that I'm at now. I didn't wanna do it, but I was also at a job that I hated, and then that was also when I was drinking too much, like, that's when it really started, and I was starting to do certain drugs that I shouldn't have been doing, and it was like, dude, like, I don't know if I wanna keep doing this shit, and so when I wrote "Are You With Me," it was just about, because I have, like, weird paranoia things. Sometimes I just don't trust people that I know I should, but I don't know what it is. And so at the time, I was like, "I don't know if these people even give a fuck about me." So I wrote it like, "Listen, I'm on the edge, and I just need to know whether I jump or not. Are you gonna be in my corner? Are you gonna be there to support me? Because I'm going through this, 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 and this." Again, I wish I could remember these lyrics better because I'll go more in depth. But if you listen to the verse is, excuse me, it's real dark. A lot of it is
Mhm.
real dark. But it's all true. It's all shit I was doing. It means the most to me because after that song, shit started getting better. Kinda. Actually, not really, but it did go up a little bit, you know? So that song means the most to me, definitely.
Yeah. And for those who are listening, who are dealing with their own vices right now, how did you get through that, and how would you recommend that they could as well?
The way I got through it is not the way to get through it. I was hospitalized over that shit. Um, I think I just got lucky. That shit didn't go more downhill than it could have. So after the third time, which was actually a year this month, um, it just kind of woke me up. I'm like, okay, look, if I really want to do this rap shit, if I really want to accomplish all these goals I have for myself, I really got to get on the straight and narrow. And even though I'm not on the straight and narrow, I mean, I'm drinking right now, but it's not as out of control. Like, even though I'm not on the straight and narrow now, I am doing way. So I think I just learned from experience, bad experiences.
Hey, you live and you learn.
Yeah, you live. If you live, then you learn. Yeah,
Big facts. I always talk about the fact like, hey, if you put your hand on the stove, you're gonna know not to do it again.
exactly, exactly. You will get burned. I got burned
Big
a few
fact.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, okay, so in 2019, you then worked with Mark on his project, Alternative Black Boy. So, can you dive into the difference in working on somebody else's project versus your own?
So when I'm working on my own project, it's like, okay, I take my time. There's no deadlines, there's none of that shit. Is it if it's done, it's done. So you kind of like lay back, you experiment a little more. You're like, okay, what if I did this? What if I did that? But when you're working on someone else's project, I think it's actually harder because there's an added pressure to like you're a feature on this project. This person wanted you on here for a reason. You gotta fulfill that responsibility. You can't just come on and spit some bullshit. I mean, if you cared, you can't do that. So when he invited me onto the project, I was like, okay, like it didn't like I wasn't like, oh no, what am I gonna do? But I was like, okay, I gotta up the ante. It can't just be a Visa verse. You know what I mean? It has to be an album worthy verse on this dude's album. So that actually the first one we recorded was I Don't Know. That was the first one we did. It was actually originally supposed to be for his meet and greet series, but he liked it so much he held on to it. I'm like, yeah, do what you want. So that was the first one we recorded. That kind of set the tone because it came out pretty good. And it was actually the single for his album. I was really proud of that. So yeah, working on someone else's project is it's just more pressure. You gotta make sure your quality is there. You gotta make sure you're on your P's and Q's more so than in your own album, in my opinion.
So, we were talking about Mark's project.
Yeah.
Um, Very interesting. Okay, so boom, we'll come back in right here. So, after Mark's project, we now have No House Calls, which is your first album, first project. So, talk about just like the emotions going through your body as you're making this.
So the first song that I made for No House Calls was actually the outro open ending, and I was like, "There's something different about this." Like, it was so open, no pun intended, and it was so honest that I was like, "Okay, this I need to build around this. I don't know what this is gonna be, but this is gonna be something bigger than a single." And I wanted to capture the emotional roller coaster that comes with just everyday life. I don't think it's necessarily a unique experience that I'm describing in that song, or excuse me, that album, but it is a experience that a lot of people go through. So, open ending was, it was kind of supposed to be like, because originally I wanted the album to end with that, and then I wanted to go into like a really happy album, kind of like a two-part series sort of thing, which is why it's called open ending. Um, but it just got different. So no house calls was like I wanted it to. I always describe it as like, again, a roller coaster, like, a parabola, if you will. You
Yep.
start up here, you start up on cloud nine, and you're having fun with sugar high, and you're just, being a kid, whatever. You're having a great time with your boys, but then like in the back of your mind, it's like this lingering dark cloud, and the dark cloud starts to settle in pandemonium, which is kind of like this transition. And I wanted to I wanted so when I make song projects, I'm more visual with it. Like I see what it's supposed to be. So I wanted people to see the dip. I wanted people to see and feel the drop in morale and the drop in mental health that I like went through. And I think it came out pretty accurate. Not a lot. A few people said they understood where I was going with it. And again, it was my first project, so it was a lot of pressure. I was scared. I really was. I was
Hmm.
frightened. When that date came up, January 31st, I was like, fuck, it's really out. I really got to do this now. But I think it turned out pretty good. I got a lot of positive feedback on it.
Hey, and you got to think it's now in the books. You were able to move forward, and look, you've already released a couple projects since then. So kind of got your feet wet, and you were like, okay, I can do this.
Exactly. Got my feet wet. It opened the door, and I was like, okay, I can do this. We're good.
See, there you go. That's the most important thing is just realizing that, hey, I actually can do this. Like it is possible.
Yeah, it's the first step is the biggest one.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Okay, and what I wanted to ask, and the biggest thing that I like is just seeing your friendship and the authenticity in your friendship. And in the song that, or technically it's a skit, and I don't know the full title. I didn't write it down. It starts with "Don't listen if you're sensitive." Why did you include this in?
Man, looking back, I don't know, but at the time, I'm thinking, so again, like the album's based around, you start off having a great time with your boys and all that, and I wanted to capture that like in its raw form. We didn't plan that. Like I literally, we it was Mark, Justin, and Tyreek in my room right now where I record all the time, and we were just talking. Like I had done some recording, I'd shown them some stuff, and we were gonna hang out anyways. We were just talking, and some conver there were like 8 conversations that I recorded. I just happened to pick that one.
Hmm.
So talking and kind of on the low, I just kind of hit the record button, and because we all happened to be near the mic, and we just kept talking and talking, and I don't even think they realized I was recording. So you really get to just see like how friends interact, and I mean the reason titled it that you've heard the skit, so there's
Yeah.
some stuff going on in there, and it's a joke. That's how it actually the end of the title. It's a fucking joke. Like I'm not apologizing. So it's just like it's kind of meant to show like, look, man, just relax. Like you're with your boys, you're making jokes, you're whatever. Like it's you don't if you don't really think that way, let it go. Like it's just a joke. It's just showing authenticity, as you said. It was just a funny thing to add. I didn't want because it's a dark album, really, so I didn't want all of it to be like depressing and
Hmm.
fucking suicidal. Like throw some lighthearted shit in there.
It just shows how like raw and real you and your friends are, and like how you can just have conversations like that and make it so candid. And then, like you said, they probably didn't even know you were recording, and that's what makes it even better because it lets them be their true selves.
Yeah, like, dude, just crack your jokes, man. We gonna laugh or not.
Exactly. No need to stress it.
Yeah,
Too much stressing with jokes nowadays.
yeah. Too much being PC, like, bro. Like, it's not that serious.
Like, I get some things, don't get me wrong, I get it, and I try to stay on the good side of the PC culture, but
Me
at the
too.
same time, there are other things where I'm just looking at it kinda like, Really? Really?"
Yeah, there's some shit I'm saying it's not that serious. It's a joke.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, man, so after that project, the world turned upside down and went all crazy, and we got a pandemic. So, what was your quarantine routine like?
So, I've actually thought about this a lot. And there was some article I didn't read it, I'm not gonna lie, but I saw the title and it was like how depressed people are dealing with quarantine. And when I saw that, I'm like, shit don't really feel different for me because I already was alone all the time. Like
Mhm.
I was already just locking myself here and recording. Like, yeah, I went out, had fun with my boys and shit, but it wasn't like it really changed everything because back to the mental health and all that. I drank alone most of the time. I did that shit anyway. So like people are saying, "Oh, I'm about to have this wine tonight on a Wednesday." I'm like, dude, okay. Like I've been
Yeah.
doing that for a while. Like, and so it didn't really hit me that shit was this crazy. Because the only thing that happened, like the thing that made me realize shit was getting crazy was my last seizure. Usually they keep you overnight and all that. They like came in at like 5 in the morning, like, all right, how you feel? I'm like, I'm good. And they're like, you can drive. I'm like, I guess. And they're like, all right, you're free to go. Because the hospital was just packed with people with COVID.
Yup.
So they had to get me out. So I was like, all right, word. But as far as like the quarantine, it didn't feel like quarantine to me. Also, like
Mhm.
God, that didn't help because I was doing some dumb shit, but it didn't feel any different to me. Really didn't.
And, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm Other than during the breakthrough times, I'm very, very, very introverted, and I like to just be, like, doing my own thing in my room or in my living room and just doing that. So, with me, I was like, "I've been doing this for years. You guys are
Yeah,
telling me this is hard?"
I've been quarantining since I was a kid, man.
Yeah, facts. Like, of course, yes, we used to go hang out with our friends and everything, but a lot of the time, I caught myself in my room, like, playing 2K or something, like, I was cool with that.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's just whatever. Like you guys are suffering, but I'm chilling.
Yeah, man. Alright, so over that quarantine period, you released a couple songs before the B-sides EP. You released "Hold Up," "Like Damn," "Noose," "Hobbies," and then I may be butchering this, but "Sign Red MP3."
Seeing red, yeah, seeing red.
See, in red. Okay. So, out of
Yeah.
those 4, which were your favorite? Or what was your favorite?
Well, okay, I know my mom's gonna watch this, so let me just say, like, damn, because that's her favorite. But my favorite, man, I'm gonna go. Actually, I think Hold Up is my favorite. Hold Up is just mad upbeat, and I'm just like, it's just me rapping, like having fun with it. That was like that was a fun song to record. I had a great time, and I mean, again, I was by myself, but I had a great time recording that song. And you can kind of hear it in the song itself. It's like we're just rapping, man, and it felt like a summer song. It felt like just driving around
Mhm.
with with your boys again, like just chilling, having a great summer's day. So I think that was my favorite because it wasn't Are You With Me, which was my other favorite from the other group you mentioned. It wasn't dark and all that shit. It was just like, yo, we're having a great time. That's definitely my favorite out of those.
It shows the other side of Visa.
Yeah, that Viz not always sad, man. Like me, I have
Yeah.
fun.
I'm glad to hear, man. No, that's great. Okay, so also in 2020, this was a productive year for you. So you released V-Sides, a 4-song EP. It had Lucille, Internet Love, Bone Crusher, and Wait. What made you decide to package these together in an EP?
So when we were making Kid Viz, those songs were scrapped from there. because originally, I wanted Internet Love to go into Bone Crusher like it does on V sides. Tyreek thought it would be better to have, I think, just Bone Crusher on there, if I remember correctly. And I'm like, nah, dude, like something about these songs, they got to go together. They sound like a story. And we were just like, okay, we'll just cut it. We'll figure that out later. And Kid Visit comes out, that does its thing. And then I'm like, yo, I got these songs, like, and Tyreek made the cover. I'm like, let's drop them. I like them because from Lucille into Internet Love into Bone Crusher, it's like and it's a wait. It's a story. Lucille is me walking into the bar, seeing a girl, and I'm infatuation sets in, right? And then Internet Love is okay. I followed this girl. I'm DMing her. She's showing interest. I'm showing interest. This might go somewhere. Bone Crusher is honestly how it sounds. It's me fucking. There's no way around it. And then
Yeah.
Wait is all right, like, and it's kind of an asshole concept now that I look back on it, but it's like, okay, like, that's kind of it. I got to get back to what I'm doing, So I'm not worried about you. So, but yeah, it was like a different story within the course of recording Kid Visa that I couldn't ignore. So I was like, you know
Hmm.
what, B sides, like the B sides on the tape. So here it is, and plus it showed a different side. It was like, Internet Love, I'm singing, and Bone Crusher, just different concept that I had never done before. It was just real experimental for me.
Letting you get comfortable in the voice that like you said, it's your main instrument, so you might as well start experimenting more and more on projects like these.
Yeah, it was definitely more experimentation on the use of my uh vocals. And it turned out I actually got better feedback on that one than Kid Visit, funny enough. And those are the throwaways.
That's awesome. It shows that the experimentation actually was like received well.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. I didn't expect it to do much. I was like, here you go. And
Yeah.
people went crazy. I was like, oh shit, we got something here.
See, that's always the best. So you brought up Kid Visa. What was the catalyst of this project where you guys, because I know you worked together for a while, but finally being like, let's sit down and make the project together.
Trying to think of what the song. I think it was Nuke. I think we made Nuke. I
Yeah.
sent it to him and he really liked it. And we had already been talking about, we should do some collabs. I was talking to Mark at the time about it, and he was like, no, let's really do it. Like, I like this song. Let's use this as kind of a template. I was like, all right, cool. So, we just started working. Like, he was sending beats like crazy. I was recording like crazy. There's songs that will never come out that were recorded for that. There's songs like, the ones on V sides that were pretty good that have come out since. And it was just like, man, like, and Tyreek was kind of guiding the sound in a sense. But once we had our solid track list, we were like, okay, how are we going to order these? And we both worked together on how the sound direction is going to go. And I think it turned out pretty good. It turned out pretty good. It was a different formula from my solo projects. It just moved different, even though there was songs like Mirror on there that are pretty sad, but it
Hmm.
wasn't a sad album. It wasn't a sad concept. It was just like, I don't even know what the concept was, to be honest. But I think we were just making a tape that just, I don't know. We were just making a tape, man. And then like it came out and we were like, this is it. This is what we want to put out. We put it out and, people liked it right in the middle of the summer. It was a great time. I loved doing that project. It was so fun.
That's great, man. Yeah, and you can really see in the intro, it's like, hey, just put your seatbelt in and strap in and enjoy the experience is basically what I got from it.
Yep, exactly. That was actually the last thing we recorded for that too, because we were like, we don't have an intro. And he sent that beat. And yeah, I think it was him and Boo, the producer on his Kid FM platform right now. But yeah, it was so fun. That was a fun project to make.
That's sick, man. All right, and then you also, like I said, a busy year for you. You released Connecticut Don't Love You, the project. So I have a couple questions about this. My first one is, why do you decide to name this project what you named it?
So anybody who knows me knows I get pretty impulsive and I'm pretty emotional. So randomly one day, right, I was scrolling through Twitter and people, I'm not going to name names, but people I know were talking about other Connecticut artists. Friend of mine was talking about he was promoting other people, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I I wasn't trying to be cocky, but I was like, you make good music and you guys know me, and I've never seen you talk about me like this. And it just got me thinking back again, way back to the Groton mentality thing and just the Connecticut mentality and hating on you for this and hating on you for that. Like, we didn't like your shoes in high school. You weren't that good at ball. Like, whatever reasons they have to not fuck with you. And I was like, man, I'm done. Cause at the time, last year, I was marketing mainly to Connecticut. I was trying to be popping in my state, and I'm always going to rep
Hmm.
my state, no doubt about it. But it was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I rep in my lyrics, I rep in what I do. I'm not one of these fake niggas trying to say I'm from New York or trying to sound like I'm from Atlanta or trying to talk like I'm from Chicago. Like, I'm a Connecticut boy through and through, and I'm unapologetic about it. But all these other people, I'm not again not going to name names, are chasing other trends, and I'm sitting here being authentic and repping the state, repping Groton too, and nobody's going to give me any respect. Okay, and of course not nobody, 'cause there's people like you and other people who do show me love all the time, but just a general feeling. I was tight, so I was like, you know what? Okay, fuck the conceptual project. I'm just going to talk my shit. It's going to be all upbeat, some experimentation. Originally, I don't feel the thing wasn't even going to be in there because I wanted
Hmm.
to just be like, I just wanted it to hit, and I don't feel like the thing does hit, but it didn't hit the way I wanted it to, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just made that project out of pure anger. I'm not gonna lie, I was pissed.
That's interesting, but you use that anger and that energy to produce what you did, and you see the reception. So that's great, man. Um, and so I know you just said there's one part you did it through anger, so that's one thing different from the previous projects. But is there something fundamental that you did differently from No House Calls or B-sides?
Mm. I don't know if it was fundamentally different. I think it was just fundamentally improved because some of the
Mm,
songs are really old. Like Rax was recorded in like 2018. Sneaker Bump was from like end of 2019. They See Me was beginning of 2020, if that, maybe end of 2019. But I think it was just yeah, I think it was just fundamentally improved. It was me just really honing in on, really starting to learn about how to hit certain pockets on certain beats, how to keep concepts going and themes, whatever, and still with the same experimentation that I've always had the whole time through. And so I think you got this weird like chain reaction of things just working out, and then me making a project that I think I put the project together in like a month, and it was just me like just working super fast and obviously being also the improvement of everything. It all just kind of came together real smooth. And I did not expect it to come together that smooth. I was ready to like
mhm.
push it back. But I was like, nah, I think we got it. And so I just trusted myself, trusted my gut, and it did pretty well. It worked out pretty well.
That's sick, man. Yeah, no, pieces just started to finally align,
Yeah.
fall into place.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did.
And so on For the Kids, you talk about basically you're saying and bringing up generational wealth, like in the song, and talking about loyalty, calling your bros that had struggled with you. So talk about how important that is to you.
Man, it's everything. It really is. Well, first off, before I get into the being loyal and everything. Generational wealth is something that thankfully our generation is starting to get way more aware of and way more proactive with. Because up to now, especially for Black people, we don't get taught those lessons. We don't get taught ownership over renting. We don't get taught savings and just any financial advice. And kids don't either because it's not like it's a required class in high school or anything. Like they just
Facts,
don't
yeah.
teach about shit. So so yes, that played a huge part in For the Kids, but also again, it was just me talking shit because I see a lot of people just doing a lot of things trying to chase his favorite rapper, and it's phony, it's fake, and I'm like, yo, if so person A that you're looking up to is real. Person B, which is you're just trying to be that. which is fake. So what do you think person C is going to do when they look up to person B? They're just going to say what you say. And if the roots, it's like the poisonous tree doctrine. If the roots are not, if the roots are poisonous, then so are the fruit. If they're chasing a fake dream, they're going to say fake shit. And it's just going to keep going. And Connecticut will never get anywhere like that. They already look down on us because we're a small state. They think we're all white and rich. You got to be authentic. You got to stay true to your experience. You got to stop worrying about what you're wearing. Stop worrying about what these other niggas are doing. Stop worrying about these women. You need to focus on yourself. You need to be yourself, and you will get so much further in life. You will do so many great things, but it starts with you, not with what you want to be with someone else. So that was that. And the loyalty
That's a
thing.
gem, by the way. That like I hope people listen to that because that's so important, man. You just dropped a true gem.
Yeah, it's again from experience. I came to it just through experience, but yeah, loyalty. So I don't make friends easily. I never have, and so when I give someone my trust, I'm like, look, don't fuck this up. I'm not gonna fuck up your trust. You can trust me. I got people who I call my friends, my boys. I don't take that term lightly. So I have your back. And so it's just like when you're such a emotionally invested person, the smallest thing sometimes can really irritate you. If someone does
Mhm.
anything that you wouldn't do to them, you lose your mind over it. And I'm guilty of that. I've blown up on my friends for like saying LOL. Like, what do you do? Like, don't say that to me. Like, if you're not laughing, don't fucking type it. Like, it's just weird. Like, I'm sure
Mhm.
it's stressful being, and I apologize for that, but it's just like, if I wouldn't do it to you, do not do it to me. If I don't treat you this way, do not treat me that way because it doesn't go well. So, it's just, yeah, loyalty really is everything. It really is.
That's it's so great to hear, man. And I feel that the whole point about like texting the LOL too, like sometimes that can sound condescending, a little prickish if it's not an actual joke. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's
I feel
like,
that.
what are you doing? You're not laughing. Like, I
You're
know you're
just
not laughing.
adding that
Don't
in
type
just
that
so
shit.
that I know you feel that way.
Yeah, like, man, I'd rather you leave me on red. Don't do that. Don't
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
do that.
All right, bro. So then you released Superman as the actual pre-release single to this. So why did you choose that?
Man, because Superman, I held on to for months. Because again, like open ending, when I made the song, I was like, this is the best song I've ever made. Up to that point, I was like, this is the best song I've ever made. I need to do this. Can't just be a. And so I was thinking, like, what album would I do around that? Blah blah blah. And then the whole anger thing happened. And I'm like, I'm building around that. It's perfect for what I'm trying to. So Superman was like, it was just a banger, man. It was just me rapping, like having fun, just rapping, talking my shit, which I love to do. I love talking shit. You follow me on Twitter, you know that probably. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
bro.
so, um, yeah, Superman was like, not only was it by the time it was released, I had better songs, but it was one of my best songs up to that point. But it was perfect. It was like the core of the album. It was what it was
Hmm.
built around, and it captured the concept perfectly. I'm like, this has to be the single. And plus, my friend Coop, he made a crazy cover for it. I'm like, yeah, this has to be it. Like this, there's no other song that is better for a release than this one.
Yeah, no, and I can definitely see that. You bring up how you like obviously I'm paraphrasing, but in the bars you talk about, or I think in the hook you talk about working overtime and just grinding and but I want to ask how have you been able to balance giving yourself just relaxation time, you time while still grinding and still working and still striving for your goals?
When I stopped shaming myself for not recording on a night, it helped a lot because I used to try to bang out 5 songs a week minimum. I would try to make a song every day, and even though I
Hmm.
was doing it, I was burnt out. And I was, eventually I got to a point where I'm like, dude, it's because I would look at my laptop, I have like 70 songs just sitting there, and I'm like, dude, we don't need to make a song today. It's okay. We will be all right. Like, we need to
Yeah.
focus on promotion because I'm horrible at promoting myself. We need to focus on merch. We need to focus on other things. Like, or we can just relax. Like, that's fine to just relax, man. Like, I started getting back to stuff I was doing when I was younger. Like, I started playing PlayStation again. Started going back to the gym. Started just going out again because I wasn't really going out either. I was just always in my room. Like, so I'm like, dude, you're 23, you're 24. Like, you got to enjoy this while you got it, because you're gonna look back at 37 and be like, damn, I didn't waste it, but I was like, I'd be like, I could do more, So when I stopped shaming myself for not, it helped with the quality. Honestly, the quality went up when I stopped trying to record every waking hour of the day.
And that makes sense because you're not always going to make that still scheming. You're not always going to make that note or fucking problems. You're not going to make that every time. But if you wait and you feel that vibe and it's coming, you might make it.
Yeah, like, just you gotta just let your creativity. It's all about what you feel. It's all based on feeling and experience. So get some experience. Like, go fucking do something. Go outside, or just go talk to whoever. Just talk to random people. Just, just do something other than sit here in the dark recording all day and drinking and smoking. Like, just do something.
Hmm.
It'll help
That
the content.
that's such a fact, bro. I interviewed Rich I Am back a couple years ago, and he
Mhm.
actually brought that up where he said, "You gotta live to be able to talk about living in your music, because
Yeah,
if you get to a point where you're grinding, 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 and you've already talked about everything that you did before, and it's like, all right, you've been grinding for 3 years, you have no more stuff that you're actually doing in your life to talk about."
yeah. You need fuel for the fire. You everything again. There's gonna be a point where you've talked about everything, and if you're a rapper like me who doesn't um, try to sound like Future, Thug, or Uzi, or Yachty, or whatever the case may be, you can't write if you don't have anything to say, and you have stuff
Mhm.
to say when you've gone through something or you're thinking something. So I just started, like, I was watching documentaries. I was again playing PlayStation. I was playing ball again. Like, just live.
It makes me so happy to hear that because literally, I think it was like January or February this year. I was like stressing, like, I got to do this, 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 this for the breakthrough and for that and this. And then I was like, stop. You're the only one putting this pressure on yourself. Do you want to go play Xbox? Do you want to go play bass? Do you want to go do that? Go do that. Shut off your laptop screen and relax. And then I said, oh, this is okay. This is all right. No one's calling me
Yeah,
saying, "Hey, you're not doing that." And
yeah.
if
No
you
one's gonna
still
like
keep with
punish
it,
you.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And social media does not help with that, because all these viral tweets like, "Oh, if you're not writing every day, you're wasting a day. If you're not recording," like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, people have to go relax, or they're gonna die. That's just a fact.
Mhm. Bro, I literally so I went in those when I started with the Twitter Spaces stuff, I was like listening to all the other beta users and let you know this was like after being on a Clubhouse binge of just listening to entrepreneurs try to come at telling you they're the main character of their world and you got to be a part of their main character syndrome. And I was tired of that. So I came over to this and I was listening to the Twitter Space people and they were all just like regular people talking about regular things and I was just like, and something they brought up was I think it was healthy habits, just doing stuff that like you want to do, like you don't have to be like Kenny Beats brought up, he tweeted the other day like somebody released their first album at 27, blah blah blah, and saying listing off a bunch of things like, hey, these people did it later in their life. You don't have to do something at 21 years old. You don't have to be in the basement every single day at 18. It's like, no, be a fucking 18-year-old. Still do what you want to do. If you still want to be an artist, yeah, still go into the studio, do all that. But don't make it everything and anything you have to do it means the studio. No, you don't want to do that.
Don't overthink shit. That's his
All right.
thing. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, bro. Okay, so 2021, you release Good Luck. What was your
Yeah.
mindset going into the new year?
So good luck. Um, Seems like I talk a lot of shit looking back at it. It was really me just because good luck was actually the kind of, but again, I got a feeling about it. I was like, no, I really want to start 2021 with this one. And it was my, even though it was like a really playful song, it's me singing and shit like that. It's really a warning to other people. So you go from Connecticut don't love you, where I'm basically saying I'm done trying to please you guys. You don't like shit unless it's popping. That's pretty much, if you had to sum it up, that's what Connecticut don't love you means. It
Yeah.
goes from that into good luck because now it's like, okay, I'm not trying to please you guys anymore. Now I'm really just focused on my craft. Now I'm really just experimenting more. Now I'm really learning how to do this and that. Good luck because you niggas, you know, talk about cars you can't drive, talk about cars you can't own, talk about jewelry that you don't have, talk about all this shit that's just fake that I fucking hate it. I really do. It's like me, it's pretty much me saying, look, the shit I do is authentic. The shit I do is really happening. People can verify it. And people will always identify with relatable things more than fantasies that they frankly will never achieve, you know? And when
Mm.
I say fantasies, I don't mean like, for instance, Doom, how we would create these whole worlds and scenarios in his songs. I mean, like, a lot of people know they're not going to get that chain. A lot of people know they're not going to get that car. A lot of people know they're not going to get that brand. Then you have
But
an artist like me where
their
it's like,
bar rhymes with Benz or rhymes with this, and so they're like, "I'm throwing it in there." Sorry for
yeah,
cutting you off, though.
oh, it's cool. No, it's cool because I was about to go there. Like they just say shit to say shit because their favorite rapper said it. People will always identify more with someone who they can tell is talking about what they're living. And
Mm.
it was just a warning to everyone like, look, I think we're gonna go up this year. And speaking into existence, that's my most played song ever right now.
Right? Yes,
So
over 2,000, right?
yeah, I just got over 2,000 the other day as my first 1,000 play song ever. Even
Hey,
on
good shit.
Blackbird, never happened.
That must be a great feeling.
Man, it's amazing. Just seeing, I was checking the stats every day, and I never do that. I was like, dude, it's about to hit 1,000. Oh, it hit 1,000. Oh, 1,500. We might get 2,000. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. The listeners were going up. It was awesome.
And now you got the momentum.
Yeah, now I got to just keep them engaged, keep them interested, which I'm in the middle of trying to do.
I love that, man. So what do you got coming up next that you can tell us about? I don't want to, steal the thunder on anything.
Back to Twitter, I've probably gotten drunk and said more than I should have, but no one pays attention at 2 in the morning. So what I can say, I'm working on 2 albums at the same time. Album A, I'm not going to say titles, but or concepts, but album A is probably about 65% done. If I had to estimate.
Mhm.
Album B is taking a little longer, probably like 30. But these aren't going to be out anytime soon, if I'm being honest. Because then I got to plan the rollout because I really want to do rollout properly, and because I've never done it before, I just tweet like, "Hey, it's coming in 2 weeks." Like that, that doesn't really do anything. So yeah, I'm working on those two projects. Um, Actually, on the 14th, I have a song coming out called Touchback, produced by Tyreek.
Nice.
Again, Team the Kid for those who don't know. Um, yeah, I got merch I'm working on. I was supposed to have it launched already, but we don't have enough designs. I don't want to half-ass it, so I'm doing shit like that. Mainly for Connecticut Don't Love You. Connecticut Don't Love You merch. I'm wearing the first actually template of it, but this isn't gonna be the final product, so don't worry about it. It's just a lot. I'm trying to really put the pieces together because I always had the work ethic for music, but I never had the other stuff, the behind the
Mm.
scenes that really boosts your plays and boosts your engagement and boosts your opportunities. I want to try to get shows whenever that starts happening again. I'm just trying to do all the other stuff that ties into your success as a musician.
Oh, 100%. And that goes the same for any creative in this digital world. The content's always going to be there, but how do you promote it? And I'm guilty of just doing the same thing that you just said and being like, "Hey, about to releasing it, and then being like, I did it. But
You
not
did.
there's more to it, and especially being the artist, you want people to listen the first time, be like, I fucked with that, let me save that in my playlist and go back. But how do you do that? It's very hard. You have to, and it's not for everybody to. It's like, all right, where's my niche audience, and now that I got that, how do I keep them herded into like my musical environment and in my mind? How do I keep them and pull them in? That's the real like draw being an artist.
Yeah, I read an article, I think through Spotify actually. It was the three phases of promoting or just doing a song is the tease, the release, and then amplify. You know, once you release the song, that's when the work really should be starting. That's when you have to
Mm-hmm.
do promo. That's when you have to do all this other stuff that goes into it. And so I'm trying to, and get do that more, incorporate that more into my process into dropping songs. Not gonna lie, don't know what I'm gonna do with this next one because I just read that article like 2 weeks ago. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
But and sure, I'm gonna try to incorporate that more because that was a very good article and it opened my eyes to how to really get plays and shit.
Nice. Yeah. So I don't know, you probably have because you've watched the interviews. Definitely look into Ian Matthews' discography as well as Trey Tuck's discography, but not just their discography, but how they rolled it out. Because I go on their Twitter or I go on their IG and I just see like, Trey will be promoting um the same project but like in different ways, and Ian's social media manager James By had said like, what you want to do is you want to like, if you have one song that you're promoting, you want to post it every day, but you want to make sure that you post different content every day about that same song. So it's like, what artists don't realize is that a 3-minute song could have however many 15-second clips, and you just gotta like find those 15 seconds and then promote them in like a what's it called, a TikTok, in a
Yeah.
reel, in different ways. And there's all that stuff that like people don't really think of, but artists like Trey and Ian are like hitting it right on the nail.
They're also two of the most, in my opinion, two of the most talented artists we have out here. I would say those two.
Oh
I'd say
yeah.
Nick Rose, Annoyed, um, Bennett. Like those are some of the most talented people we got. Just all around skills. Very
Right.
inspirational.
Yeah, bro. Trey, I've been watching him for a while and just seeing how um powerful he is as a lyricist now. Amazing. And then Ian's voice, just next level.
Actually, another one I got thrown there is Trey Moore. He's very
Trey
talented too.
Moore, bro, right? Oh my
Yeah.
God. What was it? Let me look at. I was playing one of his songs like OD every day. It was in like my repeat. Trey Moore. It was Goodbye Nirvana. That shit
Oh my God.
slaps, bro.
Amazing. I have to catch up more on him because I've been slacking on a lot of connected artists. I can't lie, but those are him and the other ones I mentioned. Some of the most talented people we got, no doubt about it.
And it just goes to show, Connecticut got something. It's just all it takes is for somebody to put the magnifying glass on the state, and then we're good. But we just don't have that yet. So we just keep working. And then once the time comes, then the content's already there, and the content's going to continue to be there. If we just get a big name, the blog or whatever, obviously we have these smaller names like mine and Bars on the I-95 and Mystery Girl. But once we have like an Ebro in the morning saying like, oh yo, there's actually these artists in Connecticut that are really dope, or Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club just calling us out, like, it just takes one of those things to just break through into the main scene.
If I have to guess who's gonna do it, I think it's between Annoyed, Bennett, or Nick Rose. Because
Bro,
something
Nick
about
is
about
wild.
yeah, something about those. Oh, Ian Matthews too. Those four. I think it's gonna be between those four because those are like, man, I don't even know, man. They're just like on another level. and they're
Mm-hmm.
getting recognition. Bennett's with Atlantic, I think now, right?
Yeah. Yup.
And
He's so
Nick is
fire.
doing big numbers on everything he does with the rose mixes and all that. And then you got Ian doing what he's been doing for years. Annoyed has been on Sway. He's been on all these stations. He's been on Funk. He's done all, bars on 95. His freestyle on that was amazing. One of my favorite of all time. It's going to be between those four, in my opinion. And Chris Webby can't be forgotten either. I'm not going to lie. Chris Webby, I'm not the biggest fan of his music, but what he's done for Connecticut and his freestyle ability is crazy. But what he's done for Connecticut, giving opportunities to people like Bennett, bringing them on tour and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
cannot be ignored. We're right there. I can feel it.
Bro, right? And you bring up Annoyed, and I think Annoyed is. I've heard people like talk shit about his style, but in all honesty, we gotta look at it like if a random person turns on any Connecticut rapper, not artist, just any Connecticut rapper stuff, are they going to think this is professionally sounding? He's probably the best bet. We just put him in there, and like we're like, yes, this is who we're sending as tribute. This is
Yeah,
Connecticut. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
I get it because like it's kind of like if you're a real rap fan, you love it. Like that's real like quote unquote rapidy rap. And I get that it gets tiring for some people, and it gets tiring for me too. I want to hear some fun shit too, but he can do that too. It's just his go-to is bars, and I will always love someone who's going to give you bars first in rap because that's what this shit was founded on.
Exactly. But then you can go and you can have songs like Majin Buu, which are a vibe, but then still have, the fire verses. But it's basically just showing like, hey, I can do this too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. That I think those guys are they're gonna and girls, excuse me, are gonna take us soon.
Oh, 100%, man. I'm so glad that you're so in tune. And you say you haven't been that in tune, but hey, knowing these people is definitely showing your uh Connecticut connoisseurness, if you know what I mean.
It's not on your level, but I do try to keep track when I can. I just don't get to hear all the songs like I really want to, but I do know names and I do know people I like and I do know people I'm not too crazy about, but there's no reason in throwing names at people who I don't like. I just want Connecticut to go where I know it can.
Facts, bro. And we're so close. It's just like we were doing a bunch of like calls, like I said, with the clubhouse early on, and then I wasn't at a call one day, and then I saw Michi tweet out like, "Hey, y'all just need to work," because I think there was some animosity in the room. I don't know the story, but they were just like, Connecticut just needs to work. There's not like, what do we got to do next? Work, just work, just work, just work, just work. So that's where we're at now, and I think we're all kind of antsy because when you're at like you're in track race and you're all sitting there and the guy has the gun up, the guy still has his gun up. We haven't shot the gun up yet, so it's like we're still waiting. We're still in a pandemic technically still, so it's like just give it a little time. Wait till we can do shows again. I'm sure a lot of people from like a lot of creatives are going to pop out because they were doing that in the 2018 2019 time, but now it's like, all right, we've had a year and a half to literally just be stuck with each other on Twitter,
Yeah.
on Instagram. We know who's here and who's not here. So like now that we're all gonna have vaccines, we're gonna be able to just go to a show, pop out, and obviously not everybody's show, but like if we just have one person from New Haven come to New London or one person from Bridgeport go to Hartford, that's all that matters.
That's big shit. That's big shit. Like you said with the track analogy, we're still setting up the blocks. The gun hasn't even been shot yet. The race has not started yet.
And I was feeling like I was like the race had already started and I was like, shit, I gotta start running. And then I realized I was like, no, it hasn't even started yet at all.
We are we're just the generation that's going to we're going to make it easier for the next. We are the ones who are bringing the change. We're not going to be what the next generation will be because I feel like they're going to be bigger than us because we've laid this foundation, the building blocks down for them. And if they take advantage of it properly, stick to what needs to be stuck to, they're going to be the ones to really do some huge things, if not us.
I'm so glad you say that because the whole purpose behind the breakthrough, obviously, it's for everybody that we're supporting now, but it's so we can lay those foundational bricks so that the 14-year-old right now that really wants to produce can go and produce and then get signed, by a producer duo or producer group by the age of 17, making it so it's easy to get into the industry, but also not just be thrown into the industry and screwed over, get schooled into the industry and have it just be the normal, the new norm to them, knowing exactly the business. Like you said, you didn't really know how to do promo. Like teaching these 15-year-olds in the classroom that are writing in their notebook how to now structure that into a song. Now that you have that song, you go, you record it. Then after you record it, you mix it, master it. Then you go and you tease it, like you said, and then you actually release it, and then you have to promote it after. So just being able to, for us and people like our age, our generation, whatever we want to say, making it easier for the next, because the next ones are just going to be like, they're going to have everything that they need. And that goes back to generational wealth. It's not just like our family in the generational wealth, but our state and what we can do for the next generation of creatives coming out.
Yeah, we don't really have OGs like that. Like Apathy is kind of the only OG I can think of off top that we have. And but the key to it is that we got to make sure this group of people we have right now, that the people we mentioned and many more that we haven't, we need to make sure that we help them directly. We need to make sure we come back to Connecticut and show love if we happen to move somewhere else. We need to set up opportunities, set up things to do for these kids that can help them focus on that craft. Don't take advantage of them. We need to set up labels out here. We need to do everything we can to make sure that that next generation will take us way. It's just like when people have kids. You want your kids to do better than you. I'm not saying that I'm stunning them or anything, but you want them to do better than you. You want the people to come after you to do better than you. And the only way they will, not the only way, but the main way they will is if we set up those opportunities for them to do so.
Yeah, bro. Hey, remember how I said, if you touch the stove, then it's hot and you never touch it again? It's even better when you have somebody else say, "Look at my hand. It hurt." And then you're like, "Okay, I won't do that." So then you never even burn yourself. But you still got that knowledge.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, man. We're in the same mind state. I love it. So all right, let's get into these fun questions. So the first one I got for you, if you could collaborate with any artist and producer on one track, both dead or alive, who would they be and why? So it would be you featuring an artist with a producer on the track.
I would want to work with. mm, it's between either Doom with a Flylo produced track
Mm-hmm.
or Isaiah Rashad. Who would produce that though? Isaiah Rashad, maybe with like a. I want to hear Isaiah Rashad on like something 40 produces. I feel like that'd be really interesting.
Whoa,
I don't know
that
what
would
that.
be nice. I have no idea what it would sound like, but that would be nice. I'm a huge Isaiah Rashad fan, so like I could like speak for hours on his last project and a whole nother hour about how we haven't had a project since the last project.
Yeah, we could complain for another 3 hours about how we haven't had anything. Man, I love
Yeah,
Isaiah.
right. Bro, yeah, no, I'm glad you brought him up because, and I think I've seen you tweet about him a couple times. So Isaiah, like when I first listened to the project, I was driving up to college, like it was freshman year, and I was like, I didn't understand it. I didn't like it, and I was like, okay, I mean it's good. And then then how I started looking at music changed, and I listened to it again, and I think I re-listened to For the Squad, and I was like, oh, he's
Yeah,
good.
one of my
He's
favorite
really
songs.
good.
No, go ahead. What'd you say?
No. I was just saying, like I just was like, I had the realization he's fucking like next level good.
Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, one of my favorite songs. on that project is the second half of Rope. Even though the first half of
Yes,
Rope is good,
rose gold.
Rose Gold. Rose Gold, man, that inspired me so much when that came out. I was like, wow, I want to make something like this. This is just cool, man. Fuck, I love Isaiah Rashad.
Bro, me too. We're gonna have to talk more about this after, but yeah, no, Isaiah's the GOAT. All right, bet. So next question I got for you: if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, TV, everybody's TV is on, you're like the president looking into the camera, what would you say and why?
Oh God. It would all depend on the mood I'm in that day, I think. If it was right now, there's so many things to speak on. I think I guess I'll just stick to music with this, honestly. I think I would just tell people, don't try to be the next, don't try to be the new, be the first Vzathegreat, be the first Clark, be the first whatever, because we will never get anywhere. And this kind of applies to life too. Don't try to be like other people, because we'll never get anywhere as a nation, as a rap culture, as a community, whatever you want to apply, if everyone just tries to repeat what someone did already. You got to learn from the past. You know, history shouldn't repeat itself, but learn from that, apply it to your own life, be the best that you can be, and you're gonna not only benefit yourself, but those around you and the people that come after you, because they'll be inspired.
Love that. And my next question was actually going to be, what advice would you give to an aspiring artist in 2021? And that's a very good piece of advice for them. But if you had to pick a different piece of advice, let's say a more technical, fundamental, like more about the recording process, what goes behind the scenes, what would you recommend to them? Brand new artist starting right now.
Learn Okay. Learn syllable counts. When you learn your syllables, your flow will get better. When your flow gets better, people have an easier time listening to you. If your flow isn't on point, they're not gonna like it. Like, they're just not. Um, Also learn breath control, big thing. A lot of people tend to breathe through their throat when they record. That's not a good habit to have. I'm trying to break it myself. What you want to do is either breathe through your ribs, or yeah, through your rib cage, but you don't want to actually mess up your posture. So what I do is you breathe through your oh, I'm sorry, I reversed that. A lot of people want to breathe through their diaphragm, but it can mess up your posture. What you should be doing is breathing through your rib cage, fill up your actual lungs with air, make sure your posture stays straight. I keep my hand on my stomach so it doesn't puff out and mess up my posture. And it's a small thing, but when you learn it, oh my God, you can do so much more, and it's crazy the difference that it makes.
Interesting. I honestly didn't even think about that. So that's a tip that I'll think of myself, and I'll put towards my own stuff when I start getting back into music. So good looks.
No problem, man.
And the syllable count, bro. Honestly, that was a great piece of advice, because of the fact that I've listened and I've heard people that do not think about syllable counts, and you can tell, and it definitely throws you off a little. If you listen to somebody like, and that's why the Uzis, the Thugs, the Gunners, they do so fucking well, because they've mastered the syllable counts. For every beat they're on, they fit the pocket because they know the syllables that they have to do. So, and I've heard some people where they actually don't write the lyrics. They like see how many syllables are needed in that line, and then they go and they write from there.
Yeah, it's so the little things really will take. It's just like sports. The fundamentals will take you so far. The people you like, even though they may sound like this, sound like that, if they're this big, they more than likely have the fundamentals down.
Right? Like, hey, you always think about how Jordan had to keep shooting free throws in the gym. Kobe was always practicing more and more than everybody else. It's like, yeah, they're showing off in the games, but it's because they did so much practice before.
You got to practice. Yes, fundamentals will take you further than style can.
Mm, that's a fact, bro. Okay, So before I had asked this in the Blackbirds interview, and it was a very quick answer, but I want to ask you again now that's a couple years down the line. Where do you see yourself now in 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years, starting with one?
In 1 year, I want in 1 year, I see myself with, 1,000 plays was like the benchmark for me for so many
Yeah.
years. I finally achieved that. We're good. We got 2 songs at 1,000. I want 1,000 to be more of the norm in 1 year. And I also want to be able to keep. Right now, I think, I don't know how many monthly listeners, but I want to be able to keep people engaged. I want people to be ready for the next Visit the Great track, the next Visit the Great project. And that all goes back to, my promo and behind the scenes stuff that'll take 5 years. I want this to be my main source of income.
Hmm.
I want this to be my. I don't want to have to wait and be like, fuck, I gotta go to work. I want to be able to say, okay, do we feel like recording now? No, let's go to the gym. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And then, record when I'm ready, knowing that that's my job now. And then we say 10 years, right?
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years, I want to start setting up, if everything goes to plan. That's when I want to start setting up the things I was talking about before, start helping with opportunities for the next generation of artists. I want to be someone they can talk to. I want to be able to set up things for people. One of the things I want to do is set up a studio in Groton. A lot of people in Groton want to record, but they don't know you can do all this stuff from home. So they're paying all this money to go to studios, and then they might not be getting mixed properly and this and that. Like, they might be influenced to make a certain sound because there's guys in the room. I want people to be able to just say, yo, let's go to the studio right over by Fitch, right over by, you know, uh, Wendy's, wherever it ends up being set up. I want specifically Groton and just all of Connecticut to be able to just have opportunities and be able to facilitate their dreams. That's what that's my long-term goal. Once I get good with my music, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life, I think.
It's just help others and really, in the end game, what we're saying is we just want to be educators of the next generation.
Yeah, that's why we're going through all these hard lessons so they don't have to, like you said.
Exactly, bro. Exactly, man. But hey, so now I'm gonna give you the floor. Any shout outs you want to give before we end today's interview?
Oh man, you know who I got to shout out? My boy James Mikasia. I think he's changing his name again. White boy Jamie. He just released a song called Work Harder. I've been watching this kid record for years at my house. He was always too scared to release it. He dropped the song. I love the song. Um, Shouts out to him. Tyreek, of course, he's my main producer. Also, another Connecticut producer that people don't know about because he used to live in my neighborhood, but he moved out. No H2O, Derek. Known him since like we were kids. We grew up together. He's one of my main producers. He'll be shown a lot more in the coming months and on these following projects that I'm working on. Man, there's so many people I got to thank. I got to thank everyone who's been playing my music or showing their friends or doing whatever they've been doing to help me reach the numbers I've been reaching because I can't do it by myself. I can't get to these numbers if people aren't listening. So shouts out to all of those people. Man, yeah, there's too many. I could go on forever, man. But I think those are the main ones I really got to shout out. Oh, Nick, I got to show me a lot of love lately. We dropped B-sides the same day he Dream Sequence. The same day. We didn't even plan it.
Oh,
He showed me love on his story. I showed him love on mine. It was awesome. He's been great. There's been a lot. Trey Tuck's been really cool with me lately. There's been a lot more Connecticut artists being real cool with me. So just everyone, if we had even one conversation about music, thank you. Oh, also Kid Vista out on the West Coast. We talked about him earlier. He's the one who put me on to playlisting and how to really start to take advantage of that. And Trey Hendrick, he's also from Anaheim. Cool dude. We're working together on some shit. Everyone, thank you so much.
Hey, well, isn't it just a beautiful thing to see that the love is there, the love is reciprocated, and even if there are people hating, it doesn't matter because there are people showing love.
The love will always beat the hate.
100%, bro. Well, hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. This ends episode 107, and see you in 2 weeks, CT.